now. And just, I left my phone on, just call or text if it glitches out anymore, and we'll figure it out from there. Okay, so I read with my eyes closed, and I usually see things through symbols. It can be more of a metaphor, but they can be literal as well sometimes too. So I usually start with the 7-layer aura reading, just going through 7 layers of the aura, kind of what they represent and what types of energies are lit up for you. Um, and then I move to questions. But if you have a lot of questions, we can go straight into questions. It's whatever sounds good to you.
I would love to know.
Start with that. All right, just give me 1 second here to get settled again. All right, just to connect to your energy, can you say your full name? I'm saying this at a very, very like dark red, almost turning brown. Very, very earthy kind of vibes here. Okay, so the first layer of the aura has to do with safety, security, and survival. The color that I'm seeing lit up for this right now is green. Let's see what's going on here. I'm seeing a lot of action going on, like kind of like starting one project and then starting another and going to the next thing, kind of being really darty, kind of back and forth from one thing to another. And it's very light. It's almost as if it could be represented by like a spirit rather than like a physical body. I'm trying to see, what does this have to do with your safety, security, and survival? So I'm seeing you, and it's like you kind of just stop playing and you give up for some reason. And it's like there's something else that you have to do. Just it's almost like it's not satisfying. Again, I'm not sure why this is in the first layer of safety, security, survival. So I'm going to see how this is connected. It's almost like it's not good enough is what's coming up here. And I'm still not sure how this is related to the first layer, but I'm going to work with it and see where it goes. So there's other people involved here. It looks like there's things that you have to do. There's other things that you have to do involving other people, and it looks like there's other people that really kind of pull you out of your ability to be grounded on some level and to finish um, like see something out to the very end. Let's see what more is going on here. as kind of like other people's problems are kind of affecting your ability to solve your problems.
Always.
And it looks like there's a little bit of their survival energy affecting you so that you aren't really able to have your space. This looks like male energy that's affecting you.
Hmm.
Let's see what your next step here is, or what your spirit wants from you here. There's just like this heaviness to it. I'm getting your next step, or something you can do to help kind of lighten this load, so to speak, is sitting in, not necessarily sitting in one place, but just kind of focusing on one thing at a time, and kind of intentionally setting a boundary where this is your time to do this specific thing. And it looks like your mind kind of wants to flutter around to the next thing and kind of to the next worry. Um, and then this giving yourself this time and space to do that. It's really important to help ground you again.
Okay.
And if there's any questions about anything or comments or whatever, you can ask at any time. So I'm going to go ahead and move on to the next layer. And if you want to look at this further, just ask me now or later. As I read, usually things kind of start to paint a picture more. So I'm going to move on to the second layer. The second layer has to do with sensuality, sexuality, and emotions. I'm seeing this coming in at a green. I'm seeing an image of a tank. It's almost like a war-like scene. And it's like it's encroaching into your space a little bit here. Kind of the opposite of what I expected to see, really, so far.
I don't let many people in.
Yeah, you seem like you have a very high vibe, and I like you're like really high vibration. And then I started reading you, and I'm like, this is not what I expected. Um, so let me see, what is this energy that's affecting you here? This seems, again, it's like male energy here, and it's like the energy of conquering, like a war, like pulling out a flag and putting it down, being like, this is my land, and you're kind of running away, kind of trying to get out of the scene. Um, something here about water, and this water being very precious and healing to you.
Yes.
Let's see, what is this water about? This water represents the energy that you can use to heal yourself, that you use on a very individual level. I just see you drinking this and this helping you. So let me see, what does all this mean?
Um, Showers.
Or
Uh,
sorry, I'm asking myself.
sorry. Okay. Okay.
Yeah,
Sorry.
sorry, I'm confusing when I do that. Um, Let me see what comes up here. I'm going to ask, what is your spirit? Why is your spirit showing me this? You're definitely escaping something. It's like this domineering male energy is really prevalent, it seems like here.
That's really bad luck.
Sorry. Um, let me see what your next step is. It seems like you're doing your next step. That's why nothing really is coming up here. Looks like you healing yourself, getting away from all of this is important for you. So I'm gonna go ahead and move on to the next layer um, for the sake of time. I'm gonna clear out some of that energy really quick. This next layer is the third layer. Has to do with what you do, your personal power, things of that nature. And I'm seeing this coming in at a red.
You said this layer was what I do.
It represents what you do, like doingness, action, things of that nature. What I'm saying here is it's a picture of you watching TV, and it's like the TV is kind of all encompassing, and the TV doesn't represent you watching a TV. It's more represents you kind of experiencing the world, and there's like all this kind of like chaos going on in the world, and just like this crazy, um, like kind of like how there was that tank. There's just like all this chaos going on in the world, and it seems to be really affecting you energetically,
Mhm.
and you're trying to comprehend it all, and it's like you're changing the channel, flipping through things. Let me see, what are you doing here? And it's like you're trying to weave your way through it all, but it just looks like there's a lot of this dominant energy coming down.
Mhm.
What is your next step here? So there's something about water. Water just seems to be very healing to you.
I would.
So something about being around water, um, maybe even swimming in water, is coming up here. There just seems to be so much of this like masculine imbalance coming in and affecting you. It's like you need something to balance that out with,
Mhm.
and water seems to be coming up. And I just see you, it's almost like you're like pushed back against this couch watching all this kind of chaos, and it's like you're almost, it's almost like you're cornered and you're like pushing up against the wall, and it looks like that's kind of trapping you in some sense, like you're kind of almost like a deer in the headlights sort of, because of just all the this high chaotic energy just coming at you.
Right.
I'm going to move on to the next layer, and then we can go back and look at this stuff later.
Sure.
So the next layer is the fourth layer. This has to do with your identity and how you connect with other people. I'm seeing this coming in at a yellow. And in this one, you seem to have a lot of energy of um, being very fast to deal with things, to get Like you see a problem and you want to help someone out really faster. It's almost like a very fast reaction. Um, there's a bit of this kind of like anxious energy involved about solving whatever problems may be arising. It's very protector type of vibe,
That's me.
but it seems that the energy is coming from the place of being um, almost defensive on some level, like you need to defend someone or protect someone. But it looks like you're very outgoing in regards to doing what you think needs to be done for other people and taking the initiative to do that. Let me see what does your spirit want me to see here to tell you. That there's some fear here that doesn't need to be there necessarily. And that it would be easier to interact with other people um, by kind of not worrying so much about certain things. So it's coming up here. I'm going to move on to the next layer. Next layer is the fifth layer. This has to do with communication. And I'm seeing you communicate very, very well with people in a very kind of factual, to the point sort of way, where people really get what you're saying. And it's almost like somebody kind of commanding someone, like someone over the like a flight, like talking over the overcon, or like in an airplane, or the people flying the airplanes talking to each other, very kind of straight and
Right, right.
very factual. And see what types of energies are affecting you regarding this. This seems to be a very liberating area energetically in your life. And this seems to help you out a lot. Let me see what you can do with this energy. Looks like there's a lot of information that you have, like kind of detailed, maybe not super detailed, but more detailed than most people. And you tend to kind of know a lot about these things. And looks like you talking to people about these things is really, really good for everything that I've said before at the kind of lower areas of the aura, for alleviating these kind of oppressive energies.
Okay.
And you communicating with people seems to really help clear some of that out and put you energetically in a different sort of scenario where those other energies aren't able to affect you as much. So it seems like the more you do that, the better it is. The more that you communicate more openly with people, It seems to be a great thing. So we move on to the sixth layer. This has to do with your ability to be seen by other people as well as your ability to see other people for who they are. And this is also associated with clairvoyance. And this I'm seeing coming in at a yellow. I'm seeing you being a watcher, like watching people and being able to really notice behaviors, more specifically physical behaviors, kind of like a behavioralist psychologist.
That is me.
But it's definitely more on the like physical level. Like you could almost predict what somebody is going to do physically with their body, specifically the like bodily movements.
I'm really good at reading people.
Huh, thanks. Um, Let me see. What does your spirit want me to tell you about this? There's a lot of focus on other people and what other people are doing. And it's like your attention is kind of focused so much on those situations and kind of the outside world, like the TV with the news on. And there's so much focus on that that it's kind of hard for you to have focus on yourself some of the times. So let me see what would happen if you, or what you can do. Oh, and I think I already said this. I think I already said this to you. It was either you or the last person I read. I can't remember. Having space with like putting time aside to have time and space to do things for yourself, and like putting like maybe even setting a timer, being like I'm just gonna focus on doing this for myself. This is my time for like 1 hour. I'm not gonna do anything else. Something of that nature seems to be really helpful for you. Okay, moving on to the very last layer here. This is the seventh layer. This has to do with your connection to spirit, your higher self, God, whatever words you want to use, spiritual aspects, in other words. Seeing this coming in at a green. It's greenish yellow. It's kind of both. Um, Something about money is showing up here. It's like you've chosen kind of like the right path in some aspect. Not sure what this means.
Oh, I needed to hear that, definitely.
Okay. Something about you choosing the proper path in life, and like you made a good choice spiritually, and it's paying off physically within your body. Like there's your spirit and your body, and it's like they're in alignment here. Yeah, so you have a very powerful spirit here. and you're able to really kind of follow that intuition of what you should do in life, like a very introverted kind of inner knowingness.
Mhm.
Let me see, what does your spirit want me to tell you about this? There's something about a male energy that you may want to avoid. Possibly a heavier set, like big um, male. Let's see, what does this have to do with anything? Yeah, it's really about you taking time for yourself and not allowing other people to kind of pull you into things and feel trapped and like you're very much so the observer, and there's more or there's this kind of need for you to n- well, it's like a weird kind of, it's like you observe, but then there's like this sharpness, like this sharp action, like you're observing and then you're like sharp action, do something quick, observe, and then quickly do some things, you know. But having more of
That's
a
exactly how I go through life.
yeah, so that's what I'm saying. So but there's something more about like this evening that out a little more, so you're less like kind of like this quick action and then back to observing, but more so so that you're in action mode, because when you kind of like reach out and do this quick action and then you snap back, then you're back to observer mode, and then someone else can set the tone for you, if that makes any sense. And then they set the tone and kind of pick the route, if that makes sense. And then you can kind of
Yes,
get sucked into that, either doing that or being by yourself. And it's kind of like either or, it's either one or the other. And there's another route that you could take where it's more kind of you setting the tone, or you blending with the other person setting the tone and kind of setting the tone together, rather than, you know what I'm saying.
yes.
Okay, so that's the basic aura reading. um so any questions about that, or any other questions you want to jump into, go ahead and ask away.
That was pretty powerful. The serious one for me, I guess, was the first layer. Because I've never actually felt safe or secure.
Sorry,
Um,
I'm turning up the
oh, no
volumes.
problem.
There
I
we go.
just soft sometimes too.
Oh, okay. So sorry, what
The
was that?
scariest one was the first layer
Yeah.
because I've never felt safe or secure ever. And I constantly deal with that. So, um, is there anything that, I mean, I think,
What you can do.
what did I write down here? Anything else that spirit is telling me to try to get that security?
Okay. So I'm saying you're like, as a girl, it looks like, I'm still piecing this together, what this means. That's what I'm saying. And it's like you have this crown and you're putting this crown on. And this has a lot to do with female energy, actually. And it's kind of funny because I was saying earlier how there's like this male energy kind of like coming down at you. And you would think that, oh, it's because you're like so the opposite, so female energy, but like there's actually something about you having more female energy or embracing more of the female energy that kind of counterbalances that and is able to prevent that from having such a heavy weight upon you.
Mhm.
And this has to do with you being a child, um, and something that may have you may have had more of a connection with as a child. I'm not actually
Mhm.
seeing a child. I'm seeing more like an early teenager, like 14, maybe 12, around there.
Sure.
And it's represented by this crown. So let me see. What is this? How does this affect this energy? Or what? Yeah, so it's like you've lost this energy somehow. Trying to see, what have you lost this energy to? It's like the mundaneness of life is what's coming up. It's not like any serious threat. It's more just like the mundaneness, like just doing, you know, kind of the next step, doing the next step, doing the next step. Almost, it's just like boring, and it's kind of taken out the that energy of your female expression.
Mhm.
So let me see. Back to the question: how does this help you become less stuck in the survival energy? So it's almost like magic, in some sense, is the way that it's coming across. And it's like the magic kind of comes back to life, into your life, and you're able to make things happen with so much less effort. Because before it was like an uphill battle, and there's all this like the patriarchy type of energy like crashing down on you.
Mhm.
But with more of this embracing more of this like kind of whimsical kind of female child adolescent energy, it's like you have this magic wand and you're able to just touch things and they just change and they just move out of your way, and this heavy oppressive energy affects you less.
Okay.
So I don't know if that helps you. I could look more like maybe
I need to embrace all the whimsical things.
well, maybe not all of them, but um yeah, you want me to read a little further, like what would help with that more, like more specifically, I
Sure.
guess? Okay. Because
Yes,
that's a little
I'd
kind
like
of
it.
vague and broad, I guess. So let's see. So what can you do in your life presently now? And I keep getting this water thing, something about swimming, going in the water, swimming. Um, something about that being healing to your body.
So I love salt water,
Oh,
but I live near the ocean. But
okay.
every chance I get, I go. And I have autoimmune conditions.
Uh,
When I go, I feel so healed.
oh, awesome. Yeah, there's definitely something about water here that just keeps showing up
Mhm.
and it really being healing to your body. Let me see, what practical steps can you take here? What can you do here? Well, like going to events is what I'm seeing. Like, and this isn't necessarily so literal. This could be more like a metaphor for like many things you can do in life. But I'm seeing you going to an event where there's a play, and getting involved in events, activities, large groups of people getting together to have some type of experience that's, I guess a little whimsical. So activities like that are coming up, and I see that really kind of affecting you. And like when you kind of go to a movie and you walk out of the movie theater and you kind of feel different, and it's almost like you walked out into a different world and your life feels different. I don't know if you've ever experienced that, but that's kind of the vibe that I'm getting here.
Yeah.
Yeah, and that really affecting you and really creating and really giving you this push and this like newfound energy to kind of almost create this magical effect that just kind of vanishes this oppressive energy that seems to just be coming down at you because of like this dullness. Like there's this stuckness to this kind of like dull life pattern that's just missing the magic, I guess you could say.
Okay. That makes a lot of sense.
Okay. Anything about that more, or do you want to move on?
Let's move on.
Okay. All right. Do you have any other
Do you have,
questions?
do you, oh, so do you take questions? Like, how's that, can I ask you about anything?
Just
Do you,
about
do you
anything. I
get,
can't necessarily tell you what you're going to be doing in 5 years, but I can
right,
I can
right.
look at just about anything. Yeah.
Okay. I'm not asking you how much I'm gonna make. This is,
Okay.
okay, remember that. So in April, at the end of April, I retired from some money I made in crypto.
Okay.
This goes along with the finances. I very intuitively invested in crypto at the
Good
same
call.
time I was going through a divorce, and I made enough so that I could retire at least for a little while.
Okay.
But I follow the markets very much. I'm very financially savvy. I believe I'm going to make a bit more, quite a bit more from now till the end of the year. This is the bull market time. I don't know how familiar you are with crypto.
I have been increasingly so.
Okay, okay.
Oh yeah.
So I just
Lately.
found you, so I don't know that much about you, but I
Yeah.
like what you were saying about auras, and I saw one of your other readings that you put on your website. So I'm just wondering if you see an increase for me in that.
Okay. Let me see what comes up here. I'm seeing something about like 2/3, and I'm not sure exactly what that means.
Okay, 2/3 increase. I was
It's
hoping
I'm
at least.
seeing it as like two marbles coming out, and there's like three marbles, two marbles are coming out, but it's like you put in one marble, and it's like there's three marbles, but like two of them come out. I don't know what that means.
Okay.
Um, Let me see what else comes up. Is there any like specific type of investment that you want me to look at and compare with another one?
Like a
Just in
specific
general,
you mean?
or something specific you were planning on doing with your finances?
I guess I'm wondering, um, okay, maybe I can ask it this way. Will I have enough to pay off my house and still stay retired for a while?
Okay. So I'm seeing you counting money and it being kind of iffy, but then I'm seeing later on, like maybe after December, I'm seeing things working out, and I'm seeing like a big mansion house as a symbol representing that.
Oh, I'm sorry, what was the symbol you saw?
Like a mansion, like a big house.
Okay.
Um, so I'm trying to look at the time frame here. I'm kind of getting a little bit after December. Yeah, so it looks like things get pretty good. Um, Possibly in January.
Okay.
That's what's coming up. Yeah, and it looks kind of almost like you're scared, and it's like really tight at first, and like you're just like
Mhm.
not sure, and then and then all of a sudden it's like much better. Um, so it
Okay.
might be kind of weird at first. Um, and you know, don't just bet all your money because I said this, but that's what's coming
Right,
up for
right,
me.
right, right.
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah,
No, I'm crypto invested and I'm in this bull run and I'll be in the next one too. But
yeah. Same here. So
yeah, 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 yeah. um, do you see good things for the person I'm with right now? Or
okay. Can you
maybe
s-
not.
can you say their name out loud really quick?
Yeah, his name is
Okay. Either way, it doesn't matter. I just have to connect to the energy of it.
okay.
Okay. So, and can you say your name one more time? Just to, okay. Thank you. So I'm seeing the way that your energies connect. He has like this bluish green, and then you have like this purple. And I'm seeing you actually being kind of more dominant in some sense. Your energy is like more dominant than his.
Hmm.
Let's see. How does this play out? I'm seeing him kind of walking back and forth, and it's almost like he's looking for different things. Kind of like he doesn't really know. Like if somebody's taking a stroll down the street and they don't really know where they're going. And it looks like there's a little bit of this energy toward within him towards the relationship. And he's kind of just winging it, seeing, it's not it's like not so much like I'm not saying there's no strings attached, like that's not what I mean, like the saying, but what I mean is
Right.
it's you know what I mean. Okay.
Sure.
A little more free floating um than it looks like you are
Yeah.
wandering around.
Hmm.
Let me see what comes up here. And you look like you're kind of looking down at him. And it's like you're kind of setting the rules in place, or kind of making the calls on certain things.
Hmm.
How does this play out? Let me see. I see him kind of wanting to call up his friends and stuff, and there's a little bit of this wishy-washiness, at least at first. And you're looking for someone who's a little bit less like that. Let me see how this plays out. It's like he has to kind of disconnect himself from some people,
Definitely.
but it looks like it's really hard for that to happen. Um, Let me see. It's almost like there'd have to be like some sort of like I don't know, disaster that's a little extreme, but some sort of like big thing that comes up that like splits him off from this kind of wishy-washy sort of thing that's happening because of his interactions with these other people, these other friends that you know kind of make him just wandering aimlessly, I guess, and less stable, I guess. Um, is this gonna work for you? he's definitely like a wanderer, if that makes any sense, like wandering around, and like even when he gets split off from these people, I see him still kind of like looking off into the distance, kind of like um not set on one thing, or not kind of like stable, kind of wanting to go off, do that, maybe go off, do that, maybe whatever. And I see this being a little problematic for you. And it's almost like you have to put this ultimatum down in order for it to work.
because of his alcohol addiction.
Oh, that's probably related. Um, let's see what happens when you do this. Or if you put down an ultimatum.
Mhm.
I mean, at work, I mean, I see him. It's kind of like a dog, where a dog kind of curls up with someone, and they're like kind of look at their, the the people around them, and it's like he's like got like that kind of reaction where he's just kind of like looking at you and like almost waiting for you to like, I don't know, give him a treat or something.
Aw.
um, but it's like this seeking energy, and it's not so stable is the problem here. And it's not stabilized. It's like he's seeking something, and it's kind of like it's almost unsatisfied. And so I see there being a big struggle with that.
Mhm.
So trying to see further if this would work out over time, or think could things have a potential to improve. um and I'm seeing like Thanksgiving and like kind of like family type scenarios
Mhm.
kind of slowly taking more hold, and that kind of taking away from this like friends kind of taking hold of everything, but more like tradition, like family tradition. Like if you create more of like a tradition that you follow, maybe not tradition, but plans, um, things that you do at home, uh, as a couple that um,
Yeah.
maybe involve other people, maybe they don't. But yeah, that sort of thing. I see that definitely really kind of grounding him to that, and that being something that really
Okay.
helps.
Okay.
Yeah. So, any more questions about that?
What do you see? What do you
Sorry.
see if what do you see if I don't go the current route and I were to, let's say, break that off?
Okay. Well, it's almost like you got hurt or something, is what I'm seeing. Or it's like, not that you get hurt, but that it makes you, it's like I see you like putting your head down, and it's like you're almost like what I would expect to see if somebody just got shamed or something like that. And it's like you're putting your head down, and it's like a very kind of defensive reaction here. Let me see what else comes up here. It's definitely going inward, but not like, but in a very like blocked off sort of way. That's not like a different meaning of the word going inwards, being introverted
Sure.
to an extreme level. Let me see further what happens here. And eventually you just kind of get sick of it. And it's like you can't stand it. And then you force yourself to go do something. It's almost like you get angry, and it's like the anger forces you to go meet new people or go out and go to some club, or not club, but I'm saying more like I don't know, like something like bingo or something like that. I don't know. Probably you probably don't do that, but I mean something like that. I don't know. Yeah, and then I'm saying that you would be able to find someone without there being much of a problem. You seem to attract people to you when you get to that extent that you feel driven, but it's a very slow, gradual process to get there. Do you want me to see like where that would go?
No, that's okay. I don't
Okay,
want to go.
that's very speculative too. So
Right.
who knows what really happened? The future is never really written in stone. So yeah. Oh, can you hear me? Oh, sorry.
Yes, I can hear you. Can you hear me?
Yeah. Okay, sorry.
Okay.
Lots of energy around this reading. Never happened
It
before. I
was
just
frozen for a second.
Yeah, okay. Did you hear the last thing I said, or do you need me to repeat that, or oh no?
But my question is, I have an ex
You're breaking up. Um,
after I dated or after I was with my ex-husband. I have an ex that I did, and he was awful.
I think something's going on. Is it okay if I call you? Okay. Is it okay if I call you? Hi, can you hear me? Hi. Is this okay?
Totally okay. I'm just gonna leave our chat real quick.
Sounds great. That way, maybe we'll record it. Okay. Um, all right. What was the question you had?
I have an ex. After my ex-husband, I dated someone who was super abusive, and I've always been afraid that he's gonna come back. His name, and I'm hoping he won't, but I just have this terrible feeling he will. So I'm just wondering if you see him ever coming back.
Okay. So I'm seeing him driving around in a car, and it's kind of like he's thinking about you um, while he's driving around. It's definitely still connected to you on some level. Let's see, does he want to come back? Some part of him is angry, and another part of him wants to come back. It's very conflicting. I see it unlikely that he would come back. There's so many conflicting things here now. Now I'm seeing that he may also want to apologize, and if he was to come back,
there may be some apology involved. However, this is also kind of like a mask to mask other things. So there's so many things going on all at once here. But I don't particularly see it being, well, let me see. Let me read further into this. I do see a possibility in the future. I see him angry now, but I see in the future a possibility of him having a moment where he feels like apologizing and potentially coming back. Let me see how this works out. I see him being very humble about it, though, even though I don't see him being humble right now at all. But there is this level of humbleness that could potentially happen. He's very angry right now. But he seems much more respectful if he is to have this humble realization and come back to you. He seems very respectful, and like he would leave and go back and like leave, you know, very fast if need be. He's not gonna like push himself into your life or something like that.
Perfect. That's all I needed to hear on that.
Okay, cool.
Awesome.
All right.
All right.
Anything else really quick or?
I think that's it.
Awesome. All right. Well, I hope this recorded all of it on the recording.
I'm sure we got most of it.
Yeah, most of it. So I'm going to go ahead and stop recording this on Zoom.